wish I had known that this too shall pass. You feel bad right now? You feel pissed off? You feel angry? This too shall pass. You feel great? You feel like you know all the answers. You feel like that everybody finally gets you, and there you are. This too shall pass. Time is your ally, and if nothing else, just wait.
All right. So here we are, the much requested, well sought after Vipassana update. Doing the video outside today, and as you will notice, I've done this in two different sort of occasions, because I need to sort of get back to the complementary stuff, because I can't really explain everything at once, and then you come up with new stuff. Anyway, so you will see that. Then three sort of basic informations that I want to talk about. One, this is just a story. This is my story. This is my interpretation. Don't believe anything I say. Anything, not a word. Just go look for yourself and see if it's true for you. Okay. Two, this is sort of questioning a lot of sort of basic reality for many people. So there's a trigger warning in here. You might get triggered. You might get frustrated, pissed, angry. I don't know on some of the things I say. So the one thing I would encourage you is to sort of relax and try to observe when that thought or emotion is coming up. And whenever you think I'm an idiot or don't agree with what I'm saying, just sort of try to catch that, and then observe it, and then you can do what you want. You can shut off the video or whatever, but at least just try to observe it. Very beneficial if you do that. Anyway, and then so the last part is so I'm talking about stories. I use the word stories in this video, but the Buddhist term is really mind object. That's more of a complete or comprehensive term for this, and mind object is really any type of conceptualization that the mind creates. Any word is a mind object. So a hand is a mind object. Finger, toe, hair, head, anything is a mind object, really. It's created by the mind. But for me, and for maybe for you as well, the word stories or story is a simpler way to conceptualize it for me. And most of our suffering, in a way, most of our stuff that goes on in our mind is a narrative. It's a story, I would say. We're not angry at the hand for being a hand, even though it's a mind object, but we might be angry for something that happened in the past or whatever, the story we're telling ourselves. Right? So anyway, why is this important? Why do I think this is good for the world, and why do I do this mindfulness and meditation stuff? Well, two different reasons, I would say. One is my own well-being and self-awareness. Learn a lot through these meditation techniques. But also another one is sort of help the world to be a better place in a way, and the only way is to sort of start with myself, right? Buddhism is kind of known for its compassion, and I would say this mindfulness technique is the most compassionate way to sort of handle the world, because you learn how to be aware of yourself, you learn how to observe yourself, and like any sort of subtle emotion and thought that comes up, you learn how to really catch it very quick before it gets into any bigger energy. I kind of compare it to I don't know, it's almost like a snowballing effect. Like if you can catch the snowball early before it rolls down the hill and becomes very big, then it's a lesser battle to have, right? If you can catch the emotion when it's small, then you can just sort of easily just let it go. But once you get into the story, full force, like this person, da 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 da, right? Becomes way harder to let go of. But if you can just calm down your mind and observe yourself and what's coming up, yeah, it just becomes way easier to sort of cut off the energy right away of that sort of weird emotion, and then yeah, be be more relaxed and more free. Yeah, so all in all, very beneficial for every aspect of life, uh, from my experience. All right, let's get into the details. All right, so my Vipassana retreat. So I did the Vipassana retreat from 28th of December until 9th of January. And this was, well, my third in total, but my second with this retreat or this center and follow-up. This is the follow-up course from my last year, which I did an introductory course, 14-day introductory course, and this one I did 12-day, 13-day. So yeah, it's very interesting. I've been a bit hesitant to talk about this. I had mentioned in some other video, but it is definitely, I'm a little bit confused of what to talk about really, and yeah, I'll get back to that. So about the retreat, some basics around Vipassana and Buddhism and the retreat. This retreat or this meditation center is adjacent to a Buddhist monastery. It was founded in 1992, I think it was, by a well-renowned monk called Chomtong. He got a prize for his influence and his understanding of Buddhism and Vipassana from both Thai government and Myanmar government. And he's also the one that sort of invented this technique and this program uh, to really help you go deep in your understanding. Um, yeah, so Buddhism. Let's start there. What is Buddhism, and then how did it come to be? So Buddhism was sort of founded by Siddhartha Gautama, which was Indian prince back in 2,500 years ago. So North India. So as the story goes, his father protected him from all sort of misfortune and all sort of suffering and anything that sort of could negatively upset him. So he protected him very well inside the big mansion, the castle. But one day, Siddhartha went outside the castle and saw old people and sick people and poverty and suffering, right? So he was shocked about this. So from that day on, he sort of spent the rest of his life trying to understand suffering and trying to understand life in a way. So he went on this quest, and you can go deeper and deeper into that. But more or less, he used Vipassana meditation as the way to get insight of the world and life in a way. And then, of course, people start following him, and he spent a lot of time telling people what he sort of came to understand, and then people around him took notes and started the Buddhist literature. So the Vipassana meditation center that I was at, they've actually built, so they have 21 different Vipassana centers all over the world. Actually, so you have Canada, Australia, Argentina, Germany, Netherlands, US, and then here in Asia. So 21, and it's actually another 8, I think 8 on the way or something like that. So yeah, almost 30 centers based on donations. So the proof is in the pudding, in a way. People are so sort of pleased and happy with the results they are getting from these retreats that they are willing to donate a lot, right? Yeah, okay, so about the retreat. 12 days. You wake up at 4 a.m. By the Buddhist gong or your own phone. But every morning 4 a.m. they have a big gong that sounds cool to wake up to. You sleep in this very simple room, just a mattress this thick. There's a toilet and a shower and lights, and there's like maybe 2 by 3 meter room, so six square meter. That's it. Not much else, and you can't use your phone. No TV, no nothing like that. And there's total silence except for your communication with your teacher. But you cannot talk to any other student. Uh, you want to be solely in your own mind throughout the whole retreat to get as much insight as possible. Yeah, so you wake up 4 a.m. You start meditating right away, and it's a quite complex technique that I'm not going to go into now. So you start meditating as soon as you wake up, and then there's breakfast, very plain, simple breakfast. Not too bad, but yeah, plain and simple. So there's breakfast at 6 a.m. Then you go back to meditation, and then there's lunch at 11 a.m. And then you meditate the rest of the day until 10 a.m. No, 10 p.m. And then you go to bed, and then rinse and repeat every day. Yeah, so that's the sort of the basics of the program. As for sort of Vipassana, it's a few different things. So I did the introductory course last year, right? And I would say at that point, so the basics of Buddhism is, I think you all know about suffering. But suffering is only one of three characteristics of life that the Buddhism claims. So the first one is suffering. And then you have the impermanence. And then the third one is non-self. So I would say last year when I was there, I really understood, well, I didn't fully understand, maybe still not, but suffering, I saw suffering in myself, and I could really recognize suffering, and not like dramatic suffering that many, especially Westerners, are thinking about, just the the, the restless state of the mind, I would say, that we're always clinging or averting different stuff. I'll go into this soon. Um, but then the impermanence, and this is the nothing lasts forever. And as you saw in the initial sort of part of the video, where Tom Hanks speaks about the quote from, I think it's Abraham Lincoln, that this too shall pass, right? So this is just a Western sort of twist on it of the impermanence. And yeah, so you understand the or last year I understood the impermanence and the suffering. But this year, I do think I at least got a glimpse of the non-self, and that was the and still is the sort of the confusing part, and the sort of the shaking up of myself kind of part, the non-self. And it's hard to understand, and I still, yeah, this is where I'm struggling, because I don't know what to say really. I don't, to cut to the core, it's all a story. Everything is a story. And I know sounds so weird, uh, and it's so cliche in a way, but the only thing that's true is the present moment, and everything else is just a story. It's weird. It's in our mind. It's just a story that we're telling ourselves. So I read this book a few months ago. It's American social psychologist called Sheldon Solomon, and he had done some research about the role of death in life. And the book I read is called The Worm at the Core, and the role of death in life. So done a bunch of research, and for example, a judge in the law system gives 4 times higher penalty for the uh, potential criminal if he is reminded about death before the verdict, right, or giving the verdict. Yeah, so just the impact that death or lack of thinking about death in our daily life has, right? And so the way he explains it, there's two sort of what would you call it, concepts or strategies for us to avoid thinking about death because it's too sort of scary for us to think about death. So he breaks it down to two big components, and one he calls um, the big scheme of things, and the other one is sort of the self-esteem part. So the big scheme of things are all the things, all the bigger cultural truth that we have. Sort of this is the world, this is Sweden, this is Europe, this is Asia, this is politics, this is good and bad, even like good and evil. Like Putin is bad and the West is good, or whatever story we're telling ourselves. This person is bad, this person is good. These are mind objects or stories that we are telling ourselves. Um, and then that's a big scheme of things. Those are very hard to see. One of those one of the very hard things to see, for example, is the concept of school. I was thinking this the school system. We don't like, yeah, the school doesn't have to be that way that is built up. We don't have to sit in the classrooms. We don't have to follow a teacher. But this is almost the only way we know how to sort of bring up kids in the last, I don't know, 100 years, 200 years. Uh, yeah, but that's also just a concept. It's funny. Anyway, so that's the big scheme of things, and then the self-esteem part is the our role, our significance in that bigger scheme of things. So this is the achievements, this is status, this is money, this is I am this, I'm that, I am an entrepreneur, I'm a father, I'm a businessman, I am a trail runner, I'm a Swedish, I am traveling. Yeah, all these different kind of things that we are, the self-esteem part. And those two sort of concepts combined are sort of a strategy for us to avoid thinking about death and the big scheme of things or the vastness of existence in a way. And I would say Sheldon Solomon and Buddha, they're just coming to the same sort of conclusion almost from different angles, and it's really the illusion of self. All right, sidetrack. Let's get back to the Vipassana. Yeah. So every day when you meet with a teacher, and this happened last year as well, and I couldn't see it until one day this last retreat, and this was when a lot changed. So you meet with the teacher once a day, and you do meditation the rest of the day pretty much, and then you have 20 minutes with the teacher, and every time, every time you met with the teacher, you have you start building up this thing in your head about how things are, about how the program is, about how life is, your relationships, your anything, right? And then you come to the teacher with this sort of brilliant idea about how things are working, and he continues to say, yeah, but that's just a story. And then you realize, yeah, okay, yeah, it's just a story. And the beginning was a lot, on the introductory course, just a lot of stories, right? And every meeting it just keeps on doing that. Yeah, but that's just a story. And little by little you say, okay, yeah, that's just a story, that's just a story, that's just a story. And I've been like very curious about the concept of this. Like I've been reading about this. It's just everything is an illusion in a way, or it's everything just a story. But then this one day on this last retreat, I had this brilliant idea uh, about how, but in Buddhism there is this concept about Maya. So Maya is the ego in a way, the self. And there is a movie that I saw in the introductory course. They showed us a clip about sort of a illustration about Maya and the ego, and how Maya is sneaky as fuck. Like Maya is, it becomes so complex I can't explain everything, but Maya is just creeping into our conscious mind and making up stories, because Maya, or the ego, wants nothing else than preserve itself. I don't know if this makes any sense. I'm just rambling. uh, yeah, I'm just rambling. Uh, anyway, so I had this story about Maya and how sneaky she is, or he is, or it is. So I came with this story to the teacher, and I told him that, okay, this is Maya, and he said once again, this is just a story. And I felt this energy drain from me. Like, that too is just a story. Oh, can't can't any of my stories just be fucking true? It's even once. Then after the meeting, I went back to my room, and I just like I felt so drained. And then I was supposed to sort of start meditating right away, right? It's supposed to, but I couldn't. I just felt so drained, and then I started feeling scared for some reason. And then I felt that like then this weird thing came over me, or this idea that none of my stories are true. Like it's easy to conceptualize that everyone else is doing the illusion, but not me. My stories are true, and they're not, right? So once that sort of thing sort of just dropped, the penny dropped for me that none of my stories are true. That's when that's when the whole thing changed in a way for me. That I can't believe in any of my own stories. And it's weird because they become sort of a freedom. I wouldn't say that my whole life changed and I never get any weird things in my head anymore, but I just can't disqualify any sort of obsession about my own uh, stuff. I can see it way easier now. So I don't have to go into my own bullshit. I don't have to. If I see anger, if I see like, I'm judging that person or da da da, like it's just a story, and move on with my day, right? Or fear or whatever it is. I just I can see it way clearer and way easier now, because nothing in my head will be true. Just just some kind of story that I do in my head for whatever reason. Yeah, the way I see it right now. So the three characteristics of existence or of life: suffering, impermanence, non-self. So we are suffering because an illusion of self, and an illusion that that self can control the impermanence, right? So we kind of want things to be the same all the time. We are resisting any change, or we want any change. We don't really accept things as they are. So either we're looking forward to something, or we don't want something, or we regret something, or we look back in sort of awe of the past, like, it was better before. Who doesn't know that quote, right? The good old days. That's it's all in the memory, right? Or we're looking forward to something, a vision. I am very much into visions and looking forward to stuff. That's my life in the future. But that's just a story as well, right? So the truth is right here, right now. As cliche as it sounds. Uh, so we wanna the self, the illusion of the self, wanna control the illusion of impermanence. And that's why we are suffering. And once you can sort of let go of that, once you can let go of the all the stories and who you are and what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to be, there's a lot of freedom coming with that. Initially, a lot of fear and confusion, but definitely a lot of freedom, because you don't have to sort of, yeah, you don't have to follow everything that's in your head. You don't have to believe in it. It's okay. You can just let it go and let it be and enjoy. Uh, yeah. All right. I think that's it. I don't know if that made any sense. If there's any questions, uh, or if you don't agree with most of my stuff, if I misunderstood anything, please enlighten me. All right. See you guys.